This is the Voice of Early Childhood podcast. Hey everyone, a quick message from me, the founder of the Voice of Early Childhood. I wanted to thank you all for listening and tuning into the podcast. We're always ensuring we provide valuable content for our listeners and viewers as we share diverse voices from across the early childhood community. And we're always encouraging you all to share your voice too. So if you have a specific topic in mind or a guest you'd like to hear from, let us know. Just fill in the contact us form via the link in this episode description. And if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you are listening on. This helps us to keep sharing voices and thought-provoking content. Thank you all for being part of the Voice of Early Childhood community. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voice of Early Childhood podcast. My name is Angelica Solinska. I'm your host. And today we're diving into a conversation around baby tech, sleep and innovation and asking some really critical questions along the way. So this episode is sponsored by Mimic Motion and we're speaking with the founder, Ryan White. Thank you, Ryan, for sponsoring and joining the discussion today.
No problem at all. No, I've been looking forward to it. After our first discussion. It's been a while coming, but yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. It's great I know we've caught up a few times and kind of discussing the episode and discussing what you've created. It's really exciting to be able to actually put it out there and share with everyone. So yeah, as I said, we're discussing the role of technology in parenting and specifically around aiding sleep and creating an optimal sleeping environment for babies. So whether that is for your baby at home or in an educational setting. And really throughout this episode, we acknowledge that tech in parenting and education care is a very kind of layered topic full of lots of potential, but also full of, I guess, health-related, developmental and ethical questions. Mm-hmm. So let's really explore this innovative product together then. So Ryan, can you tell us what Mimic Motion is and how the idea first came about? So set the scene for us.
So Mimic Motion is a company I founded in 2022, and basically it's a company that sort of develops innovative sort of technology-based products for babies. So our first product, Mimic, was now patented as a sleep assist module that simulates that car travel that we all know and love to get babies to sleep. So what Mimic does is you can again put your car seat on it, a carry cot on it, or the baby on its own, and it simulates that car travel. So through the physical motion, vibration, the lighting systems, and the integrated sound systems that sort of create that immersive sort of car travel simulation to get babies to sleep. So that's sort of what we're working on at the minute. That's our first patented product, but there are many off the back of that one to come. So it's good.
Really exciting, yeah. So why is it mimicking car travel then? So is this something that you found helped you personally, or is it a lot of parents that experience this? Because I'm not a parent myself.
Yeah. So, but Mimic was born sort of out of desperation. So I'm a father of two, and my firstborn, my daughter, slept really well in the day, but did not sleep at night. Me and my wife tried every single product we could find, from shushers to little rockets to everything that was sort of in that sleep sort of genre. We tried and we couldn't find anything to work. So the only thing that worked for us was me taking my daughter out in the car for an hour, 2 hours to get her to sleep. It turned out to be sort of the most effective and fastest way to be able to get her to sleep, because me and my wife both were full-time employed, and I was an automation engineer at the time, working 12-hour shifts. So sleep was a must.
Yeah, I bet
it was a very difficult time. So Mimic was born out of my own sort of desperation. It was more for me than anybody else, but it's. But it's turned into much more after discussions with people all over the world, and there's certainly a demand for it and a requirement for it to help parents sort of similar to me in my situation to sort of get that much needed sleep.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's really important. You say it's for yourself, but really it benefits the baby so much because, of course, the baby gets to actually fall asleep and hopefully
Yeah.
have good quality sleep, if not a longer period. And then as it's helping the parent as well, then you're able to be there for your baby. So obviously the benefit is there for both. It's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, the benefit is for both the parent and baby. So with parents, obviously, it's hard enough being a first time parent or a second time parent, and
Mm,
that lack of sleep or sleep deprivation is a real problem. It can cause further
mm,
problems with mental health issues and postnatal depression and things like that with mothers and things like that. So there's a lot more health related benefits to mimic for parents than
yeah.
obviously there is for babies. But for babies, it's that safe, sustained sleep without the need to leave the house.
Hmm.
Because again, we've looked at all sorts of research and figures all around the world and about car accidents involving new parents and the lack of
Mm,
sleep, and the figures are staggering. It's like I think it was something like you were seven times more likely to crash as a new parent, again due to sleep deprivation and things
mhm.
like that. And
Yeah.
there's countless tens of thousands of accidents again in the US with new parents and sleep deprivation. And so again, if we can stop the need to be able to having to drive around
Yeah.
aimlessly trying to get baby to sleep, and we could do it all from the safety of your own home, that can only be a benefit to people.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And so how would Mimic be typically used then? So, like obviously the baby's not you're struggling to get the baby to sleep. Would you put the baby down into Mimic for a specific duration of time? Or would the baby then be transferred into like a cot after falling asleep? How does it work
There's
practically?
different sort of Mimic's quite versatile in its operation. There's several different options you can use. So with
Hmm.
Mimic, you can put the baby inside its car seat, and then you can put the car seat on top of Mimic, secure it down, and then you can again simulate that car travel.
Hmm.
But again, looking at the research, babies are only supposed to be in there for a maximum of 2 hours.
Like in
So
an actual car seat?
yeah, an actual car
Yeah.
seat. So
Hmm.
for that sustained safe sleep, it's probably for the short term it's beneficial, but then we also design it to be able to accommodate car seat, not car seats,
Mm.
carry cots, where
Okay,
the
yeah.
baby's lying down. So then it becomes say sustained sleep. You don't have to disturb them, so you don't have to then move them onto a different sleep position or car or
Mm.
like next to me, things like that. So you can leave them in there, and they're perfectly
Hmm.
safe. And again, they're monitored by camera systems. We have a wearable monitor where the heart rate and blood oxygen levels provide alerts and things like that. Anything goes wrong, so it's a much safer place to be. And again, it's
Yeah.
undisturbed. Because again,
Hmm.
that's sort of something again, this is why we sort of brought this in, is because I myself came into that problem where took my daughter out of the car, I'd have to get her out of the car and then try and put her back in her cot. And then
Mm.
a lot of the time she woke up, so the whole cycle starts again.
Oh
So
gosh,
it's
yeah.
having that sustained sleep is key for us. It's like to put them in there, get them to sleep very quickly, and they're good to go. So you can go straight back to bed and,
Mm.
and enjoy some sleep.
Yeah, definitely. It makes so much sense practically. When you start talking about the fact that, babies are often a lot more, I guess, capable of falling asleep in that, like travel, during car travel because of that. I guess it's the calming effect and it's the movement and things like that, isn't it? And then when you talk about the fact that you need to get them out and then they wake up again and all of the aspects that you were just talking about earlier about the fact that it's not that safe being out and about in the car traveling, and then also when you're as a parent really needing sleep and it's the middle of the night. So all of this makes so much sense, and I really like that you've actually considered, of course, well, I guess of course you would, you're creating this product, the fact that car seats are actually not that beneficial for young children. There's a lot of kind of research going on into that, the kind of sleeping positions, and I know a lot of people are kind of against that. So maybe when a product like this is being put out, they straight away kind of think of that. So
Yeah.
you've really considered that both for the safety of the baby and like the practicalities of it. Doesn't make sense to lift them out, and so they can, I guess they can use it all night then. It's
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
a cot.
And again, not only can we use the car seat, the carry cot, we can also put baby on the platform directly. So again,
Hmm.
with our sleep pillow, well, it's like like a tiny little mattress thing that sits on top of our
Mm.
platform. So again, they're lying down, they're safe, they can't roll around, and they're well looked after. So there's lots of those considerations we've taken into account because obviously, as a parent myself, I wouldn't want to put my child on something that I didn't
Yeah.
deem to be safe. So so everything I'm putting into Mimic is something I would consider as a parent. So all my fears as a parent and my considerations and my sort of security and sort of critical risks, I put this in as a person, as a parent, not so much as a company owner. It's as a
Yeah.
parent. This is what I would want. Or these are the safety aspects or safety concerns that I would have. So all of these things are going into Mimic from day one.
Yeah, because I guess it's a difficult balance when you're putting out a product and you're thinking, okay, so what does it need? And of course, you need to think about, is it going to sell? But actually, it's really thinking about the safety, the considerations for parents, because sometimes we can get too caught up in trying to sell it, but then the safety aspects, it might be safe, but is it the best possible product for supporting the child's development and the body posture and positions that we've already discussed? And you talk about your own experience and what kind of research or like any kind of expert like consultation has informed the development of Mimic, as well as kind of your own experience too.
So not only moments we've talked to sort of the sort of government bodies and people like Lullaby Trust and people like we're talking a lot of advice of BSI. We're talking to the BSI about safety standards.
And what does BSI stand for?
It's British Standard. So basically, it's a safety standard, British safety
Okay.
standard. So it's sort of an EN standard. Like every product has a CE or an EN
I see.
standard. So we talk to these governing bodies about safety aspects of what we need to adhere to, what's critical, and things like that. So everything we're designing from day one will meet the safety standards. But also talk to a lot of people like the Lullaby Trust. They're specialists in obviously babies and childcare. So we've had a lot of input from them about how to integrate different things and different safety, again, even down to sort of materials that we're going to use and so breathable material, obviously, because everything has to be safe for babies. So it's all of these things we're taking into consideration. Again, speaking to the professionals, because I say I can only do so much as a parent.
Yeah.
So when you need to speak to professionals and say, look, this is what we've got, this is what we want to do. What would you recommend? What issues you may or may not you see here? And so we've had quite a few conversations about these. About Mimic and so for the best part, they're quite happy with what we're doing and the materials we're going to use, and so not only that's about environmental considerations about
of course,
recycling and things like that. So there's lots and lots and lots of things to it. So all those things sort of been taken into consideration, and we've actively gone out and tried to find as many professionals as we can to get as much feedback from these people as possible.
Yeah, because that feedback is so vital, isn't it, in terms of how well parents, of course, that feedback from parents themselves, and then also like you say, the professionals, because there might be certain professionals that you speak to from one perspective and their kind of expertise in one area, and then other professionals might have expertise in a different area that is kind of unrelated. So it's important to speak to so many different people. And I was going to say, in terms of product testing as well. So have you done some testing with babies and kind of using them themselves?
Yeah, we had a prototype, a proof of concept prototype built by a design company here in the UK, and we had two babies trial it, and both of them were asleep in under 15 minutes. That's
so much better than that driving around in the middle of the night for 2 hours.
Absolutely. So they were asleep in under 15 minutes. And then their parents had to wake the baby up after over an hour because they obviously had things to do, like they had to go somewhere else. So the concept works, and it worked really, really well. Even at the most basic of functionality, it worked really, really well. But there's so much more we're going to put into Mimic, like integrating the AI systems and randomized travel patterns and things like that, and recorded travel patterns. So there's lots and lots of things we're bringing in. So from a basic functionality, it worked really, really well.
So tell us a little bit more about the AI aspect then, and because a lot of people I guess nowadays when they hear AI and anything to do with like children, they think, oh
Mm.
no, let's not go there. So tell us, what are like the benefits here, and actually, what are the opportunities with using AI?
So the thing with the way we're going to sort of integrate AI into Mimic is we're going to use it for the randomized travel patterns. So it will
Mm,
never run the same travel sequence more than
okay.
once, but it will also record the most effective travel pattern. So through the camera systems and the monitor systems, it will monitor baby to when they're static and they're asleep and they're
Mm,
relaxed. We will know that, and it will record how long it took the baby to fall asleep, and then it will
mm,
record the favorite, essentially the most effective travel patterns, and have like a
mm,
playlist of these different travel sequences to be able to recall.
mm,
And if you need to get baby to sleep quickly, we can recall these travel patterns, and then we can run them. But yeah, so from an AI perspective, it will sort of learn the behaviour of baby and what they like, but also keep it fresh so the baby doesn't get used to that same travel
Oh,
pattern.
I see. So they're not like, I guess that people might worry that their baby might become like reliant on a device like this. And then the fact that it's almost like the car ride situation again, the baby can't get to sleep in any other location situation if Mimic's not there. So you're saying that, if you've got these varying kind of
Mm.
simulators, varying patterns, then the baby is not going to just rely on one particular pattern to get to
Yeah, so
sleep.
again, it's sort of varying, like again, different travel routes, different road
Mm,
surfaces. There's lots of variables to driving around. So again, it's road
mm,
surface, types of road you're driving on, sort of urban motorway or sort of country
mm,
road. So variances in movement. So where the car sways and things like that, we can replicate the different sort of roll motions of cars. So it's always keeping it fresh, and it's always keeping it new. And baby will never get used to one specific travel pattern unless we tell it to. So if we say, right,
mm,
we need to get baby sleep quickly. It took 5 minutes
mm,
for baby to sleep in this specific travel pattern. We can recall it, and then
mm,
we can get them to sleep very, very quickly. But again, it's
mm.
integrating that camera, the monitoring systems, the camera systems, and the physical motion of Mimic, and using this data to be able to replicate the most effective travel patterns for baby to sleep.
Yeah, so I guess with the monitoring as well, that's kind of where the AI comes in too. So
Mm.
that really can support sleep safety, as I know that a lot of educators, parents, healthcare professionals, that could support them in ensuring that the baby is safe when they're sleeping, or when they put them down to sleep. But then that monitoring is important. So how does that work? Does Mimic notify us?
Yeah, yeah. So with Mimic, we have also it's like a bracelet monitoring system.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll monitor blood oxygen level and also heart rate. So this
Mm,
links to again our app because it's all going to be app controlled. So
mm,
everything's linked to your mobile device, your tablet, or your laptop if you wish. So and then if anything was to go wrong, it would send you an alert, and obviously to tell you what's going wrong: heart rate dropping, blood oxygen level lows,
right.
lack of movement, or I mean. So again, using the AI, we can track baby movement. So if it starts to become a
Mm,
problem, it will alert you prior to
mm,
anything serious going on. So again, giving that sort of safety concerns to parents to say,
mm,
right, we have all of this in place. If anything does go wrong, we will let you know.
mm,
The product will let you know in advance, early doors. So if you need to do anything, you can get to that. You can get there pretty quickly. Again,
mm.
it records that data as well. So again, blood oxygen levels low or heart rate low, it will monitor that. So again, we could, if need be, we could send that we could technically link it to emergency services if we needed to,
Right. So
and
I
then we
guess.
will automatically call if we need it. So when
Mm,
again, that's the extent we could take sort of the AI to,
yeah.
where we could call for emergency services if we need
Hmm.
it. Again,
So
that's sort of a backup factor.
yeah. Well. With all of this in mind, then, do you envision Mimic being used beyond the home then as well, in terms of like healthcare, neonatal settings, places like that?
Yeah, yeah, it can. Anywhere a baby needs to sleep or you need a baby to sleep, it can be. So
Mm,
again, nurseries, hospitals, schools, care establishments. So anywhere that you
mm,
need a baby to be able to sleep, we can be there. So
mm,
it's yes, it's not just for the home. It could be anywhere. Again, because it's quite compact also. So you can, if you need to take it somewhere else to a holiday destination or travel somewhere else, you can do that as well.
mm. So with all of this data that you were talking about, then. there's a lot of data that can really support the baby and the parent or healthcare professional in really understanding the baby's needs, I guess, and sleeping patterns, and kind of record things and notify us, like you said, with the monitoring. So are there considerations here around data privacy then, in terms of, have you taken these into account,
Yeah,
particularly with
absolutely.
tracking sleep patterns and getting
Yeah,
that
yes.
data?
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's privacy is for the parents. So everything, all the data is going to be stored on locally on the app. So if you've got an app on our Mimic app, all your data will be on your profile on your device. So it's one of the things we'll call sandbox storage. So it's all on your own device. We'll have limited access, and it's again GDPR compliant. All the data is encrypted, so there's nothing that anybody could take or look at without prior knowledge. And again, we would never use that data in any other way but for the benefit of the parent or the baby. So
Mm-hmm.
that's basically all of their data is for them. It's completely personalized to them. So all of their
Mm-hmm.
different travel patterns, that's all for them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we take that sort of the safety and security very, very seriously, and we've already looking at things to put different processes in place to make sure that data is secure and safe.
Yeah, I guess because of technology always evolving, and AI especially, we need to, I guess, be flexible and always research what are the best ways of storing and protecting data. And it's not just, we've just done these things at the beginning and that's it, everything's safe. Actually, it's always revisiting that, isn't it? Keeping
Absolutely,
on
yeah.
top of it.
So yeah, absolutely. And again, it's all of the critical data. So specific parent baby data will be stored on the parent's phone or the parent's device. So we have no access to that. All we will have is sort of the analytics from sort of the cloud. That will be linked to a cloud. It's just data usage, like how many times they're being used and location, sort of country-wise where they're being used. So we'll have analytics of how many are being used and where they're being used, but we'll have no data on specifics of their own data.
So do you have like the kind of data, just like what, for example, a website has, in terms of how, where are you accessing, whereabouts you're accessing the website in, or, the phone or apps that you use. So it's just the same technology that you have all the time anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all it is just monitoring logged use. Essentially, that's what it is. Where location and logged use. How many times you're using Mimic,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's all we'll have access to. And that's all we want to have access to.
Hmm.
Because again, that information is for the parent and the baby, not specifically for us. Because what I set Mimic up for, or Mimic Motion up for, is a company that actually makes a difference to parents. It's not so much about selling a product; it's about providing something that actually makes a difference. So
Hmm.
we're not, again, monetarily success will come from that, but we're fundamentally out to make a difference to parents. So
Yeah.
everything we can do to support parents, even from just from a product support or maybe some online support or sort of a charitable support, we're all about it. It's not so much a business sort of out to make as much money as we can. We actually want to make a difference,
Mm.
because that's what I personally didn't have. We didn't have that structure when I was made a first time father. So it's about providing the parents with that support in any way we can.
So on that topic then, in terms of affordability, then that's, I guess, a concern for many families, because this tech, it's, I don't know the price of it, but I'm thinking it's not going to be cheap. It's not simple at all. So how do you respond to questions about like accessibility and equity then?
Well, accessibility. Again, it's a product for all. We wanted to make it affordable for everybody, but we have different ways of being able to do that. Because Mimic,
Hmm.
dependent on the variant, because there may be a couple of variants that we have. So it could be the basic one will be 400, and the sort of the more advanced one will be up to £600, which is still only mid range for the sort of that a product with that much technology in it within that
Mm.
industry. But we also have what we're going to call the STR program, which is like a short term rental program
Right.
where
Okay.
families
Hmm.
can again essentially rent one for an X amount of months or pay as you go
Mm.
sort of thing, and to give them that accessibility to Mimic, because
Mm.
we don't want to be one of these companies that go, we've got this product, we want it to be for everyone, and then price everyone out of it.
Yeah.
We want to make
Mm.
it available to everyone, and we will look at any opportunity to make that so.
Mm. That's such a great idea, because actually you're one of the questions I was going to ask, how long, what is the age range for using Mimic? How long would typically a parent might use it?
Yeah, well, we're looking at sort of newborn to up to 2 years old.
Yeah.
And again, it's dependent on how big the baby is. As long as
Mm.
the baby can fit inside Mimic, they can use it. So if they
Yeah.
go past two, that's great. But from again, average sizes and average weights, it's going to be from 0 to 2 years.
Yeah, so I guess some parents might think actually we only need to use it for a set period of time, and then the baby might be absolutely fine sleeping. It might get into a good kind of routine and pattern and settle after a few months. Maybe that sounds too good to be true, but hopefully with Mimic, maybe that helps, and then they can actually get to sleep without even maybe the technology, especially if they're
Yeah,
not constantly reliant on that and it's constantly varying. So then with the short-term rental program, that makes a lot of sense. So you're not investing in buying something, and you're either, if you're planning on having more children or not, it might just be sat there in storage, or you might end up
yeah,
getting rid of it. So actually
yeah.
it's yeah, it makes a lot of sense, and then it makes it a lot more accessible.
Yeah, again, we actually are a company that wants to make a difference to people. So we will look at any opportunity to make that happen. So except with the short term rental program, it's it's just going to work. It's just going to be one of those things that just work, and it will benefit people. And again, if they want to purchase it off the back of the STR, then they'll get whatever they've paid off in their months will come off the retail price anyway. So essentially, they're going to get the best deal we can possibly give them to be able to access Mimic.
And I guess in terms of kind of looking at things a bit more critically in terms of children's development, babies' development. So with trying to, I guess, balancing tech. Like technological innovation with the importance of human touch and presence and attunement. So we all know that with the rise of technology, it's important to not use tech to replace that vital human connection.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of research out there, that with the emphasis of the need for actual physical touch. So how does this kind of fit into, I guess, family life in terms of not disrupting that opportunity for bonding and connection?
Yeah, to be fair, it's well, with the Mimic, it's all about sleep routine. So with me as a father, when I was putting my babies down, I would put them into a cot and then I'd leave the room. So the routine was always the same. So I'll put them down and then sort of leave, because what I didn't want to do is then become reliant on me being there
Yeah, if
and then
you're
keeping
rocking
them
them
away.
as well.
Yeah, and then again, I fell into that trap with my firstborn, where I was constantly picking them up, rocking them, walking around. So with any sleep routine, you want it to make it as consistent as possible. So again, putting baby in. So it's from a human touch perspective, it's all part of that routine. So you would do something. So you would put baby in a cot, leave. You would then put baby on Mimic and leave. So there's no real difference, or the lack of human touch or human sort of integration, or you know what I mean, it's, interaction. So it's all
Yes,
part of
yeah.
that sleep routine. So it's that usual what you would do anyway. So there's nothing. It's not really going to creep into any or take over any parental sort of interaction. It's just there as an alternative to a different process.
So I guess, yeah, like you're saying, you would just you're using it as a cot anyway.
Essentially.
Yeah, so I guess so Mimic probably has the potential to create quite, as we discussed, personalized care for babies. So really creating that optimal environment for a baby to thrive. So we're actually potentially revolutionizing the way we provide sleep and care routines for babies. So for educators and professionals in the early childhood community, especially, instead of using and parents, of course, instead of using technology like this to replace that adult and human connection, it's all about reflecting on the potential benefits and kind of to shape our understanding and
Yeah.
practice of that responsive care. So I guess it almost gives us that it's a bit like giving us training and awareness of actually this is really showing us that data. This is what the baby's needs are, instead of replacing it. It's giving us more understanding. That data
Yeah, you get a
is,
lot more feedback as
yeah,
how baby
exactly.
responds, what baby's doing, if baby's moving around a lot, or is baby settled. And it's with Mimic, it's completely customizable per user. So again, from downloadable content, you can download your own specific sound. So if your baby's responds to a specific sound set, then you can download your own sound set and you can play that. So, or again, specific movements, your baby responds to different movements, you can record that and replay it. So and even to the lighting systems, because we have an integrated light system. So if your baby responds to a specific spectrum of color, you can replay that. Or so it's completely customizable to the user. So you will get all the data you get will be personalized to you to be able to reflect on and sort of learn from and apply that maybe to the next baby or to your ongoing sort of development of your own baby.
Yeah. So it's actually teaching us a lot, basically. That's kind of the way to see it. And always use it in that way rather than just place the baby in mimic, leave it there. And, if everything's fine, it doesn't notify us, then that's it. That's all we need to know. Actually thinking, okay, it's given us this information. Everything's fine. It's not notified us that there's any concern, but let's still look into the data and see how the baby is responding to this care that we're providing through this technology. And maybe we can use it a little bit more to our benefit rather than just, constantly putting the baby down, they're falling asleep and that's it. Let's have a look at why they're falling asleep a little bit quicker this time. And maybe it's something to do with our routines around this sleep routine itself, in terms of our daily routine of feeding and other things, or being outdoors. So you can actually start to bring in that data throughout everything else that you do in the daily routine, not just the sleeping routine, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it monitors a lot of different things. So it's all the information about your baby, how they move, how they settle, what position they sleep in. I mean, what's the most effective position for them to sleep in? So there's a lot we can do, or a lot we can provide the parent from a data analytics perspective for them to learn, to be able to not only sort of provide development care, but it's also looking after their baby throughout the day. So what the baby likes to do. So what motion they like. So even from their different products they might have in the hand, like a jumper or a bounce or whatever, what works best for the baby to do what they want it to do.
So with all of this kind of innovation, then where is mimic motion as a whole? Where are you at now? What are your next steps?
Well, at the minute we are sort of refining we had our proof of concept prototype, so we're now refining that to a more redefined scale and weight. So we wanted to make it as light as possible, obviously, for ease of transportation and obviously scale properly. So it's not some huge thing. It's just in the middle of your living room. So it's relatively low profile, so we can store it away or do what we need to do with it. But from the product development, but from a business development, we're looking at investment funding. So we've just been through our SCIS, so it's basically a tax relief scheme for investors. So we've got that now accreditation, or that status, to be able to give that sort of tax relief to investors. We finished fourth in a competition called Most Valuable Pitch.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. So we were one of the 13 companies that were shortlisted over sort of 1,500 plus throughout the UK. And so we were one of the 13 that got through, and we actually finished fourth in that competition. So we're very, very proud of that sort of accolade. So we didn't win it, but again, the competition was fierce, and the winner won it. So fair play to him.
But no, it's good progress, isn't it? And
Absolutely.
It's great feedback for you as well. That's the really important thing.
Oh yeah, we got some incredible feedback from, again, investors and the audience that were there. So it's again, things to work on, things to develop, but yeah, we're going in the right direction. So it's a case then of getting that investment to be able to progress through to the next round, get our prototype developed into a real life or real version, and be able to do then some pilot testing with parents. So we'll give them a unit to test for anywhere from sort of 4 to 6 to 8 weeks. We're getting that information back from the parents. So this is what we like, this is what we don't, this is what we think we should have, and really tune it into sort of what the parents want to see out the gate. So it's a case of just getting that initial funding to be able to move us forward. It is going to take a significant investment because everything up to this point I've self-funded. So, I had a 9-to-5 job, just a normal working dad, to be able to pay for this company and the development. So yes, for the next stage, we're really going to need some significant investment to take us to that next level.
Yeah, and it's really impressive that all of the work that you've done so far, and everything that you've created. And I guess with all of the kind of future product testing that you're talking about with parents, maybe it's also important to bring in those other education, healthcare professionals as well, because parents do, of course, they do know what they want for their baby, and they are their baby's first and foremost kind of attachment figure, carer. But sometimes they may not always know the developmental or health aspects that they need to be aware of or consider. So I guess, are you still going to be working with other professionals as well that
Oh,
can
absolutely,
advise?
yeah, absolutely. So anything developmental or sort of anything to do with the product or any integration of any different systems, we're going to seek out that professional sort of responses, and then sort of tailor that to meet, again, safety standards or developmental needs. And so we're going to really work with the governing bodies and the professionals to essentially make the best product we can.
Yeah, and I'm always kind of talking about the fact that there's so much value in collaboration, and I guess that's kind of what you've done from the outset anyway.
Absolutely, yeah, because I don't know everything. I know enough to get me by, but it's, again, from a professional sort of care standpoint, I know enough as a parent, but from a professional care standpoint, academically probably not the most. So it's seeking out that information, and again, implementing those things into our designs before we go too far, and have to change up, like,
Yeah.
fundamentally change the design and go back to the design stage. If we integrate all of these different steps before we get to that final sort of version, then we'll be good to go. As soon as we've finished, we can just press go and start building and getting them out there to parents.
That's very exciting. I guess there's still a bit of a journey to go with all of the testing, and when we won't kind of see Mimic out there ready to buy just yet. But
No, not
it's
yet, no.
important to hear how much goes in behind all of this. That's the main thing, rather than rushing through it.
Oh no, it's, again, with Mimic, and unless I'm happy, it's just not going to work, because everything takes time and everything has to be done correctly because of what we're doing with Mimic. It has to be right. And again, as a parent, if I don't trust that unit, I'm not putting my baby on it. So I have to be happy with every step, and we have to go through these processes to be able to go to the next level. So it's a case of, we need to do this, and this to be able to then jump to the next bit. Say, right, this is the next stage, and we have to meet all of these different steps that are put in sort of in place to be able to say, right, this is the standard that we're going to meet or exceed, because we don't just want to meet standards, we want to exceed them. So yeah, it's a whole sort of routine of making sure things are done at the right time in the right way every time. So it's a slow process, but it's worth it in the end, because
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
every step's been made properly.
Yeah, it's really great to hear that you, as part of this product, this innovation, you have got that lived experience, and you can relate. It's not just you thinking, "No, this is a great idea, I'm going to put this out there." Actually, you as a parent have that experience, and that's
Absolutely,
really
and again,
important.
it's born from pain, where most ideas are. Most ideas are, and again, I travel a lot with my 9 to 5. I go sort of all over the world, and I speak to people about Mimic and what we're doing, and they're like, "Why is this not a thing?" Well, I said, it will be, but it's why.
It takes time.
We could have done this. We could have done with this years ago. I know, I was the same. So I get a lot of the same responses everywhere around the world where I go, and people want Mimic. There's certainly a high demand for Mimic globally. So there's obviously parents out there that need that support, need that help, and we want to be the people to deliver that. So it's always encouraging to find people that see what I see, and are fully on board. So it's always good to see that.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing everything about Mimic today with us. It's been, really great to hear. And for everyone that's listening, I'm just kind of going to wrap up our conversation. So today's kind of discussion has brought some big questions, so really exciting possibilities. And as always, we invite our listeners to think critically and reflect on how technology like this fits into their own parenting or professional practice. And it's important to keep in mind that tech can never replace that human connection, as we discussed, but that kind of innovative, thoughtful design can really support us in so many ways, and in new ways as well. And We'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyone listening and watching, please do share this episode on social media with your thoughts. Make sure to tag the Voice of Early Childhood so we can be part of the conversation and also get Ryan involved. So this would really help Ryan to continue working on his products by hearing the thoughts, experiences, and feedback from parents, educators, healthcare professionals. So if you'd like to reach out directly to Ryan, if you'd like to work with him, please do get in touch via the contact us form in this episode description. So you've got that there. You can get in touch straight away if you've got some thoughts sparking right after you've listened to this episode. And to find out more, you can also check out Ryan's article and the Mimic Motion website. Also, the link is in the episode description. So everything there is to know there for everyone listening and watching. And yeah, once again, thank you, Ryan, for sponsoring this episode and then coming on to really share everything so honestly and reflectively as well. It's not an easy conversation when you're kind of like faced with like all these challenges and, but obviously you've thought about so many things over the years.
Yeah. Again, you have to. Again, with what we're doing, you have to. And it's been a fun journey. We're not finished yet. We're not even anywhere near yet. But it's been a fun journey. And again, it's something I'm very passionate about, and I've never lost that sort of drive to be that change in people's lives. So yeah, it's exciting to sort of get out there, sort of get on this podcast with yourself, and then talk about it openly and share my experiences, and then hopefully get the responses from people back to say, yeah, no, this is what we like about it, this is what we don't. And again, using that real life feedback from people to move forward.
Yeah, definitely really important. And good luck with everything. And I'm sure we'll hear lots of exciting things to come.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But no, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it.